Welcome to Pull the Pin Already War Room Edition. As usual, I'm your host Jim, and with me today is Nate.
Hey, Jim. How you
Hey
doing?
Nate. So you already know how the War Room works. You are the only one joining us on War Room, but you know how it works. We pull a bunch of headlines. Unless you've read it before or know some previous knowledge, we just give our opinions on what we're reading here in the headlines. So you ready?
Give me the first one. Let's do it.
These are always exciting. I always say I get them from Mike, but I guess I can't say that today. Because as you can see, Mike's not with us today. He has a previous engagement that he is at right now, but he will be back shortly. All right, first one. Afghan interpreter who helped rescue Biden in 2008 left behind.
And so are a couple hundred other Americans. Yeah, I don't know what. I think he helped rescue him in a snowstorm or something like that. It's not like he helped rescue him from the Taliban or anything. He helped rescue him in a snowstorm. I understand he's an Afghan interpreter, and a lot of those people are being sought after by the Taliban because they helped the U.S. and other countries. But really, he helped him in a snowstorm, if I remember correctly. So,
So
okay,
it's not like the Hillary Clinton being shot at rescue.
yeah. Well, he can probably make it that way if he wants to.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember this story in 2008. I really didn't care. And you know what I find interesting about this is how do you know he was left behind? I mean, maybe he rescued Biden because it was his job and he really doesn't want to leave. Like, I don't know. Do we
Oh
know
no,
that?
I think the interpreter has reached out and saying, "Hey, I helped you. Why aren't you helping me?"
Oh, you think so? Yeah, I didn't know
I
anything.
think so. I didn't read the whole article. I mean, I saw the headline too, and I kind of looked at it, but I didn't really delve into it. But I think he had someone reach out to him saying, "Hey, I helped you. Why aren't you helping me?" type thing.
Oh, so how do you think that headline got out there then? So somebody must be using this to make Biden look like, hey, you left the guy who rescued you, because that would be just like any other Afghan, right?
Right. Yeah, it's any other interpreter that got left behind, or any other American inspector left behind right now.
Right.
He's left behind more than just that one Afghan interpreter.
But they're not stranded though, right? They're
No,
not
they
stranded.
no, they can take commercial planes out, I guess.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's not surprising. Afghanistan's a mess, and there's only one person, or one, I guess, one person who has to take the blame. He could push it down wherever he wants, but this is insane.
Yeah, I mean the final decision is the president's. He's supposed to have a whole bunch of people help him make decisions, and if they helped him make these decisions, they need help too.
Yeah, and that leads us into our next headline. Biden waived congressional mandate for report on Afghanistan withdrawal risks.
Can they hide anything else? Can they hide anything else?
So, I mean, think about it. Like, you were in the military. Like, did we ever go on a mission without doing some sort of risk analysis? Remember, that was always the laughing joke. Like, oh God, we got to do another one of these. We got to do another
What's
one of
the
these.
risk assessment? What's the risk assessment? Where's your risk assessment?
Right. Like,
Dude, I'm
it
changing a
was
tire. I'm changing a tire. Do I need a risk assessment?
it was part of training. Like, forget about big missions to evacuate thousands and tens of thousands of people. Where would you like even think like not to include this?
They're hiding stuff. Supposedly, I saw a headline today where Pelosi said something not to read the dead
The
Marine
names, yes.
names on the floor. I mean, what are y'all hiding? Why do you hate America so much? But yet you want to be the president of America? You want to be the Speaker of the House of America? To what? To gain control from what country?
Well, and to me, Nate, the problem has always been this. I get it. I don't trust these politicians. I know they're in it for themselves, the money. Maybe some of them are in it for foreign entities. Maybe. But my problem is all these idiots that are lockstep with these people. Like, how? They're right in your face telling you, look, we don't care about the people who died.
Yeah,
And you don't notice this?
if you still defend those people after the past 2 weeks, you haven't seen anything different. You need help.
Well, they do, and the problem is they are, and they're not only there, they're justifying it.
Yeah,
Like they're literally praising Biden for his airlift rescues now that he created. They're praising him.
because it's the biggest in American history. Because you made it that way. Because you left all of them out there because you didn't have a plan and you didn't have a risk assessment.
Right. The American history, it didn't happen in the past because everyone planned accordingly. They didn't need to airlift people out this big.
Right, because they had an evacuation plan.
Like, but this I'm saying to the common person, like, do you not see this? Like, how are you literally going to praise somebody for fixing their mistake? Like what? And they're still not even fixed.
Yeah, it's like the people are praising them, mostly that I know of, are all non-military. They've never been in the military. They don't even know how to spell military, but they want to say, "Oh, he's doing great things for the military." How the hell do you know? You never raise your right hand to go to the military. Is it right or is it left? Your hand to go to the military. Your
I think
military
it's left.
Your
Left.
military left.
Yeah.
Raise your right hand.
Right. Left. Doesn't matter as long as you know where to point the weapon.
That's it.
Downrange, uprange. All right. Well, so yeah, I think it's no surprise that they hit more. No surprise, right?
You know,
When
I don't know how do these generals, chief of staff, how are they making these decisions? How are they letting this stuff happen? Are
well,
they
let me
looking?
ask you.
I mean,
I
granted,
want to ask you this. You remember when we served about the same time, and you remember when I think it was Clinton did the drawdown, and all those people got out. Now, do you remember like that? What I've experienced was all the people who
early
can make
voluntary
it.
retirement?
Yeah, all the people who can make it out in the world took the paycheck and went out in the world. All the people that needed the military or had too much time already invested stayed. So you had a big gap, and I think that was the backbone. Really, I think that was the backbone, NCOs that got out. So then what filled that gap was all the lower enlisted that they had to drop the promotion points for to get up there. And those are the people who needed the military. Or maybe, some just got in. I'm generalizing, of course. But I think that vacuum just... So now, here we are, fast forward years later, those people are now the senior NCOs. And the officers, those were the ones that were pushed in through the Obama era. The senior officers. So now you think about it, why do you think our military is so woke? You got a lot of incompetent people and a lot of people that were put in those positions for that purpose. Which is why when we go to wars now, we end up having more people killed in training accidents than actual war. I mean, there's other reasons, obviously, for that too. Lack of resources, lack of training time, but it just baffles me.
Yeah, people in the military at that high of a rank are hand selected to be in that position. And they're hand selected for a reason.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
right. It's
They don't
it's
do what I
not
tell
just
you to do.
yeah, it's not just check the box like a bunch of points we have. I mean, of course, there are probably some points related issues, but I mean, we know this. We know you get a general that flies into a mission to see how the troops are doing, to say hello, and then all of a sudden he gets a ribbon. Like, we know that. Everybody can look at a general's chest and be like, oh, look at all those ribbons, knowing damn well he took a helicopter flight to a safe spot and called it a day.
And it's probably a higher ribbon than what we got for actually serving for 6 months to a year over there.
Right, right. So they're not fooling us military guys. Maybe the civilians are buying it, but they're not fooling us. All right, let's move to the next one. We're going to beat this one.
Ribbons out of a platoon sergeant when I was in Korea. He had a bunch of ribbons.
Right.
And I asked him, hey, where'd you get all those? He said, clothing sales.
Yeah.
So he was humble about it, but he had been around. But yeah, he clothing sales, just like you.
Right. Yep. Well, we know who the real ones are. We know that. So, all right, we'll move to the next one. We need Mike for this opinion. University of Wisconsin hosts students of color only barbecue weeks after removing racist rock from campus.
So you create a racist barbecue because you're only inviting a certain demographic because of a racist rock. So you remove the racist rock, which I don't know what the rock is. I don't know if it was racist to blacks, racist to white, racist to Asians, racist to whatever, I don't know. everybody's racist against everybody nowadays anyway, so it don't matter what the rock is racist against. So you took a racist rock out and then started a racist barbecue. Yeah, as long as their feelings aren't hurt anymore, I guess it's good.
Right?
The
And
ribs
you know,
or chicken?
what's that?
Was it ribs or chicken?
Yeah, right. Oh, you can't say chicken because that might be racist.
Oh,
Right.
sorry.
So my question is, in all of this stuff, is always like the enforcement part of this. So, like Mike has brought up to my attention, I had never heard the brown bag thing, but what is a person of color? Like, and where does the color spectrum stop? Like, are Hispanics people of color?
I'm color.
That's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
what constitutes color and what color? So, even if you want to go and do this student of color only, what constitutes that color? Like, is red a color? Is orange a color? Like, what level of color? Like, there has to be some standard. Like, Mike said the brown bag standard. I never heard that till recently, but I get it now.
There's some political person here in Delaware where I live. She created the Black Breastfeeding Week, and I think she had some movie about it. And if you're a black breastfeeding woman, you can go to the movie for free. If you weren't a black woman, you got to pay $7 to get in. Basically the same thing as taking a racist rock out and putting it in a racist barbecue.
Right, right. So yeah, well, they don't see it as racism because it's against Caucasians or white people. Which Caucasian? Where did Caucasian come from?
I have no idea.
Caucasian, Asian, white Asians, because Asians are almost white. I don't get it. I don't get any of it. It's just really stupid. But
I prefer the term European American, please.
yeah, well, if you're from Europe,
I don't know.
I mean, there were white-looking Arabs. Isn't that part of Asia?
Yeah, what about like South Africa? There's a lot of whites in South Africa.
Like I said, I don't know. I don't know whether it's color, continent. I don't know. It's getting crazy. It's ridiculous. All right,
Yeah, we
let's
need the
not
other
beat
host to
this.
discuss this one.
Yeah,
We're
we won't
racist
beat this.
without him.
Right. All right, so let's go. Let's go talk about my favorite city. San Francisco initiative will pay residents each month not to shoot others.
Wasn't this the same city that has a whole bunch of money that they lost because of COVID? I know where the money went.
Yeah, exactly.
People to shoot people now with that money.
It wasn't to clean up the poop, right?
San Francisco, isn't that Pelosi's area too?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I thought.
Somewhere in
Yeah,
that
I don't
area?
know.
I'm still California. Same difference to me.
It's California, so what does it matter, right?
Well,
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that being implemented
so
federally?
is it if you already have a history of shooting people, you get paid, or since I've never shot anybody, do I get paid because I'm still not shooting anybody?
I don't know. What about all the unsolved shootings? Like, is that to get people to come forward and to return the money? Oh well, didn't shoot anybody last month, so here I got to give you this. Like, what about all the like, what? Like, this is stupid. Like, it doesn't surprise me for San Francisco, but
I was about to say I'm going to move there, become a resident, so I can get paid every month. But I'm never
Right?
going to move in that freaking state or city.
not
Or
to
anything.
shoot someone.
No.
If you don't own a gun, you're good, right?
Well, I don't think you can in California or San Francisco, or I think cap guns might still be illegal. I think.
Right. What does actually shoot mean? And does it say to shoot them with a pistol, a rifle, a bullet?
It doesn't say kill people; it just says stop shooting them.
Right. So, like, could that be video shooting, photography shooting? Like, what does that mean?
Where do they have all this money? If this state's almost broke, but they have money to pay stupid stuff.
Well, they just got stimulus bills. They got COVID bills. This is what everybody thinks the whole COVID thing was all about. Don't you remember those states were complaining their numbers were rising, so they needed these bailouts for COVID, when actually what they really needed was relief from their bad decisions in their financial plans?
Well, that makes sense. Yeah,
And then they still lose money and still spend money poorly, and
and still make
we
tax
can't keep
money.
rescuing these people. I'm ready for a divide. I'm ready.
That's
I don't
what
really
I
want
say.
Americans to kill each other, but I'm ready to start dividing states.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Democrats get 25 states, Republicans get 25
Yeah,
states.
let's have like I've mentioned this before. We need to have a draft.
Well, maybe not 25, 25, because I'm a registered independent, so independents need their own.
So yeah, sure. Have that neutral zone.
Yeah, but
Have
I'm
those
not gonna be in the
neutrals.
middle. I'm not gonna be in the middle. I gotta buy an ocean. So us
Yeah,
independents gotta have good land too.
I'm ready. I'm ready. But have a draft so that the states can be divided in some sort of a productive way. You know, you don't want one side getting all the produce and then one side getting all, because then that could end disastrous.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Well, all of our stuff comes from foreign countries anyway, right?
no, sure. I mean, but we'd have to trade negotiations and treaties and yeah,
Well,
I
whatever
don't
state I
know.
live in, I want to get paid not to shoot somebody. So
Yeah, that's it. Pay me not to shoot. Hell, pay me not to assault anybody. Pay me not to even curse at anybody. That'd be awesome.
except for the bottom of your cup.
I mean, yeah, you could pay me. You could pay me to not make fun of people, but I don't think that would be make a lot of money
Oh, I'd be broke.
because if I see stupid, I'm calling it stupid. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, I'm not gonna shoot you. So let's go.
All right, I'm not paying you, so go to San Francisco for that. Top FDA official resigns over meddling from Biden admin.
No impeachment inquiries there.
You know, you know why this doesn't surprise me? Do you know what they just did with the COVID vaccine? Didn't you hear something about the COVID being approved by the FDA?
Yes, and isn't Fauci's wife working for
Yeah, the NHI or whatever. She's in the health
one
organization. Yeah.
one of the ones that had something to do with this COVID vaccine?
Yes, but let me explain if you don't know what's going on. The COVID vaccine apparently just got approved. This is the
Pfizer.
Pfizer one by the FDA. It just got approved, but they didn't approve it because they also extended the emergency use. Because think about it, if they approved the Pfizer vaccine, then the other two, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, could no longer be used. That's the law. Because you can't use an emergency vaccine when you have a fully approved vaccine. So somehow they did this little thing where they approved it. I don't know all the specifics, but they also renewed the emergency ones. So now
Your headlines,
Pfizer,
your headlines is specific. They were meddling, and that's why they approved it, but also approved it for
but
emergency help.
but it's crazy. Like people can't see this with their own eyes. Like how can you approve a vaccine and yet still issue emergency for the rest of them? And their excuse was something like, well, it's not readily available yet. But yet they did say that the vaccine was practically switchable. Like you
Well,
can,
I see that point. There's not enough Pfizer vaccines to go around for everyone that wants them, so they have to still have these emergency ones to allow them to get it if they want to. I mean, that kind of makes sense, but
yeah,
I would
yeah.
assume I would assume that Moderna and Johnson were next to get approved, so that they were all approved.
Well,
No,
right.
so why is one out of the three approved if they all do the same thing?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know why. Well, I think the two, Moderna and Pfizer, are different than Johnson Johnson. Johnson Johnson is like the flu shot that actually has the virus in it.
Okay, it's a COVID vaccine.
Right. No,
So why is that?
it's an experimental drug, is what it is. It's not even really a vaccine. It's an experimental drug. They even came out and said it's not working.
I mean, you need a
That's
booster
why you
now.
need. What's that?
You need a booster already now.
Yeah, because it's not working.
Imagine that.
Right.
But they've been researching it for years and years. They didn't just come up with a vaccine. Coronavirus didn't just come to existence. Why didn't we have a vaccine years and years ago then?
Right. And why are we still losing people to the flu when we got a vaccine?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't trust big pharma, but we can move on if you're content with this nonsense, because this doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me at all.
But,
All the meddling.
there's meddling on every politician. Every politician meddles in something. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Well,
But
right, but look, you're talking about
being
top.
said. Nothing's being said or brought up. You find these headlines buried. You don't find these on CNN's top headlines. You don't find this on MSNBC's top headline, do you?
No, and this is a top FDA official. I don't know what top FDA official means. Top 5, top 10, top 3. Like, I don't know what that means. But if it's a top FDA official, I mean, that should be some significance. Especially if he's saying, I'm quitting because Biden's meddling. You know, maybe he doesn't want to be responsible when finally the ship sinks. Because it's going to sink eventually, but these people can't continue.
I don't think Biden's smart enough to meddle. Someone's telling him to go meddling.
Yeah, well, of course. Let's be real, man. Biden's not running this country anyway. No president usually does. It's usually the establishment. Yeah. Are we almost done yet? I got coffee and ice cream to get to. All right, let's move on with this one. Gang members and criminal migrants apprehended by U.S. Border Patrol up 265%.
Are those the ones going to San Francisco and getting paid not to shoot each other?
I wish, right? Then it might be a valuable program.
Well, I mean, of course they're up 265%. There's an open border right now, so why wouldn't those stats be up?
Right. Well, no, there's only one open border. You can't say it's open borders, right? There's only one, right?
Well, there's multiple entry points along the border.
Sure, but it's all the southern border. Because the Canadians, they're dangerous. Europeans, they're dangerous. Those South Americans, well, you know, people coming to South America to come up the border.
Right.
They're no worries.
Okay.
They're just refugees. They need a place to stay that's safe and secure.
Yeah, I think they even caught, I don't know if it was Taliban or Al Qaeda or ISIS or someone down there coming up through Mexico.
Oh, they've got known terrorists. Yeah, they've caught known terrorists.
Yeah. So I mean, and isn't the border Kamala's issue or baby to take care of?
Yeah, as long as she's 500 miles from it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the closest she got to the border is Washington D.C. Her too.
Yeah, it's just crazy because, like I said, I had a plan in the beginning, back when all this, you know, the Trump haters were all on board with I had a plan to end the border crisis and get the wall built. That was to open up a cruise line from Russia to Mexico. That was my plan. I was just going to open up a cruise line where people can get on in Russia and then just come to Mexico and just come across the border. Because, you know, the Russians were a threat, but the southern border is not a big deal. So I was just going to funnel them all through there, and then they'd be like, whoa, wait a minute. We need a wall.
Now, the people that want to get funneled through there already know to go through there because 265%. Now, what's that mean, 265%? So when Trump was president, only 2 people got across the border. So now 6 got across. So is 4 really that big of 4 extra people really that big of a deal?
Yeah, the numbers are hard unless they tell you exactly where the numbers are, right?
Right.
But still a 265% increase, even if it's from 2 to 6, is still an increase.
Yeah.
So maybe the percentage doesn't matter. The point is there are criminal and gang members coming across the border in higher numbers.
Yes,
even if it's just 4 more of them. We don't need those 4.
And they're going to keep coming.
Yeah. Sure.
The ones that got turned around, they just went across the border, turned around, and tried to
Well, I know the Supreme Court just said that the stay in Mexico thing had to get back in place. They just reenacted that or something because the Supreme Court held it up.
What if it doesn't?
Well, yeah, like it doesn't matter. It depends who's running it.
Yeah. They said something, but...
Yeah, the moratorium too, right?
Yeah. Supreme Court can lay law down for the next person that could go through the court system and say, no, Supreme Court, I ruled that you can't charge him with that. But the Supreme Court tells the government to close the border. What if they don't?
Right.
You can go to jail for it.
I don't know. Supreme Court's getting to be a joke too. All right, speaking of jokes, let's move to this joke. Fairfax teachers score 32.7 million bonuses for extraordinary work during pandemic from home.
Good for Fairfax. I'm assuming that's Fairfax County in Virginia.
I don't know. I'm assuming as well because Virginia's...
Fairfax is a rich county, so I'm assuming they can pay out $32.7 million in bonuses. Well, good for those teachers for doing extraordinary work. You know what? That 3.27, that's it, right? Yeah, 32.7 billion million. I'd rather see it go to teachers than the government for doing a good job,
Sure.
than the local politicians for doing a good job, than the
Sure.
football player for doing a good job. They give it to the right people.
Yeah,
Now,
mostly because teachers didn't create it, right? If
yeah,
the government got it, they created this problem.
right.
Whether
So,
they created the virus or not, they're the ones that locked down everything and created the problem.
right. So I'm glad they gave it to the right people. If you're going to give it to anybody, give it to the lower paid people that work better than the higher paid people anyway.
Right, but doesn't this bring the question about the whole socialist fairness movement here? Like, how do you pay one group of teachers 32.7 million bonuses? They're not the only ones that did extraordinary work.
Well, their county can't afford it. Obviously, this county has a good budget for something.
We don't know where this money came from, do we?
What? Probably COVID relief funds.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
But if they're budgeting it properly, and this 32.7 million is part of the budget, and they're using it properly, good for the teachers and good for the county for doing it properly. Hell, it could be Fairfax, Alaska. I don't know, but whatever it is,
Right. Either way, that's a lot of money. Extraordinary work during the pandemic is possible. I believe it is possible because I think teachers did have to do a lot of adjusting and teaching. Now, just because they did it doesn't mean the results were better. So I would still base that work more critically about how they. I mean, just because you implemented an online course wasn't like online schooling didn't exist.
yeah.
So it's not like you created something that didn't exist. You just
Yeah, so
did it
look at
in
the
your
headline,
school.
look at the headline. A lot of questions. You need a little bit more data.
Yeah, but that's what I like about this. That's what me and Mike, enjoy this because you can make the story up if you want.
Yeah.
Because all we get to do is interpret what we're reading. And this is it. Let's be real. This is what the average person is seeing and making a story and basing their opinions on and reacting to their emotions on.
Probably without reading it like us.
They're not even reading it. We know this because there have been plenty articles where the headline is disproved in the first paragraph. And people don't read it. They just don't read it. They see the headlines. That's why we're enjoying this. So,
Well, I think it's an extraordinary show. I need some money. I need some money.
your bonus check is in the mail.
Well, USPS or FedEx or UPS.
No, it's USPS. It's government. It'll be there someday.
I might see it next year.
And good news, they're hiring a lot.
They are. They need
Yep.
to hire.
Hiring a lot. All right, you ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
Health firm that donated heavily to Biden and Dems pays 90 million penalty for allegedly defrauding Medicare.
So if you didn't do it, why'd you pay $90 million?
Good question, right? If it's alleged, what is the 90 million penalty for?
So I allegedly don't get investigated any farther. That's
So-
what 90 million's for.
So just think about this. Let's think about this from a journalistic perspective. Why would you even write this headline?
For someone to click on it. It's sort of clickbait.
Right. Sure, and it makes Biden look bad. It makes, so maybe there's more to it, but to me, right off the bat, like you said, if you go with the truth of it, 90 million, so if they paid a $90 million penalty, why would it be allegedly defrauding Medicare? Is that saying we agreed to pay the thing, but we don't believe we defrauded Medicare?
They agreed to pay 90 million for allegedly defraud Medicare because if they got proof that they did defraud Medicare, it'd be 290 billion they have to pay. So, we're saving $1 billion. We'll go ahead and pay 190
Yeah,
million.
but
Good.
you were in law enforcement. You did, MP work, police work with us. What kind of law would that be? What would you be charged with? We're going to charge you $90 million penalty for allegedly defrauding Medicare? That's not even practical. They had to charge him with something.
They probably didn't charge them with anything. That's why they paid $90 million not to be charged.
Yeah, but that can't exist. That's got to go on paper somewhere. It's just like a speeding ticket. They down it to a seatbelt ticket. Like there has to be a record. If you're paying $90 million, there's going to be a listed penalty. Not you didn't want to pay the higher penalty. It's going to have to be something that you're paying that penalty for.
We'll never see the exact alleged defrauding crimes because it won't be in the news.
Right, but let's dice.
You found this news headline, so did you read it?
No, I don't read these. I just find the ones that are interesting. Yeah. But I like to look at the headlines too to break them down, because you think about it, like this headline looks like it's making Biden look bad. But by putting allegedly defrauding Medicare, almost looks like they're trying to save face for the health firm. So I really don't even know if this was written left or right.
When you allegedly do something and you take the plea deal, you probably did worse, so you're just getting off easier.
But a plea is to something else. You have to plead to something. You can't plead to, I don't want you to prove it, so I'm just going to pay a fine.
They pleaded to the fine.
Right, so maybe they plead to Medicare interference or Medicare misconduct, or there has to be something.
Yeah, you don't just, it's a $90 million penalty. You don't pay a penalty for allegedly speeding.
No, there has to be something written next to that $90 million fine. Why can't they just tell us what that is?
They might have in the article.
Right. Well, they might have, but then they wanted to say allegedly defrauding to make it look worse.
Well, I guess it said alleged because I never went to court, never got proven. So it's still alleged. There was no criminal charge, I guess.
Okay. So you're saying if you charge me with speeding and I go to court and no contest, which means I'm not saying I'm innocent or guilty, but I'll pay your fine, then it's still allegedly speeding.
Hey, Jim, I got you on radar doing 55. All right, I'll give you $5 to let me off. All right. Well, Jim, give me $5 for allegedly speeding.
Well, that's extortion, though. That can't happen.
Oh, well, that could be part of the headline, too, probably. So,
but I do understand no contest means you're not going to, plea. You're not going to say you're innocent or guilty. So that no contest, you still get your plea of no contest, but you're still charged with the speeding and you pay the fine. But you're just not admitting guilt. So I guess you could say it's still alleged because they didn't prove it.
Yeah, they didn't get charged with it or prove it. Yeah, I guess.
So $90 million penalty is not a speeding ticket.
That's how Fairfax paid their teachers, because they got $90 million from this.
There you go.
They should have $60 million left over.
Fair enough. All right, you ready for the last one? Mike loves these.
One of those.
Yeah, and I got a photo for you too.
Oh.
A research vessel found SpongeBob lookalikes a mile under the ocean's surface. You don't believe me?
Show me.
There it is.
So it's a loofah that ended up on the bottom of the ocean floor.
Well, that looks more like a loofah, but how did it get next to a star?
The starfish. That's isn't that Patrick?
That's Patrick. It's SpongeBob and Patrick.
So the picture. How many other people saw it?
Well, do you first of all, you think it's real?
I mean, it looks like I don't know the scientific name for stuff under the ocean, but it looks like a sponge, essentially. That's yellow. There's plenty of sponges in the sea. Just because it happened.
But what are the odds? What are the odds that it's right next to a star?
I don't know. Starfish live that far down in the ocean on rock. I don't know what starfish.
That's what I said. I don't know nothing about that stuff.
But that's pretty cool. It's funny.
Yep. Alrighty.
Okay, I see. I just saw SpongeBob with a like only SpongeBob, but now there's an S on a likes, so it's plural. So it's SpongeBob and Patrick.
Yep.
And they should probably.
You want to see it again?
Yeah. I think I see something. You see that in the bottom right-hand corner? I think that's a Krabby Patty. Nope. Yeah, that's crab. That's crab right down there. That's Krabby Patty.
You mean down here? Down in this part?
Yeah, that's a crab tentacle. It's a Krabby Patty. And And there's a jellyfish thing on SpongeBob too, back there. Yeah.
Oh my.
Maybe
Yeah,
they were
not
filming-
quite sure.
maybe they were filming. They might have been filming that day a SpongeBob episode, and scientists just happened to be there.
You know that he doesn't have his shoes or his shorts on, so
Well, he's still in the trailer. He isn't. He hasn't. They haven't set action yet.
yeah, well, I mean, this would be like X-rated, and they couldn't show it anyway.
That's pretty funny though. I like it. I'm
Awesome.
glad
So
scientists are doing stuff like that.
yeah, and I'd love to know if it's true or not. I probably should have read that one because that was interesting.
It's more phony than read articles. Just talk. We talk headlines, not articles.
Well, I mean, like I said, people believe crap they read, and they don't even read the crap they read.
Some of the articles we read at, well, I don't know what articles or headlines you're putting up, but some stuff's already out. Obviously, it's out there for everybody to see. So some stuff I have read before you've shown me the headline, and I just happen to know more about the headline than I.
Sure, and that's
No.
okay. Even if you read the whole thing, that's great. You could talk
Yeah.
about it. But
They'll
to
both
me, it's
come
more
out.
fun making the story up
Yeah.
because that's what people do.
We make our own headline off a headline.
That's what people do if you think about it. I mean, that's what they do. They literally take their bias.
The headline said blah blah blah. So it must be true.
They take their bias and they interpret what they read into what they want it to be. So either they read it and say, wow, that makes Biden look bad. Or they read it and say, oh, that's a lie. Probably came from some right-wing newspaper. They don't even have to read the article. They just see the headline and they make up their own crap anyway. So why not?
That's why I like
You
the
know?
war room. You make up our own crap to each headline.
At least we do it from a veteran's perspective with experience.
And that's all that matters. And that's all
Right.
I have, Jim. So what you got?
And that's how we're going to end this one, Nate. So thanks for joining me. And thank all of you for tuning in and watching, and hope you had fun. And if you're a veteran, get on the show. Reach out to us. Go to the website, pullthepinalready.com. And until then, Godspeed.
And pull the pin. Boom.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin Already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.